Good to see you. It's been a minute. Yeah, just been working and same old, same old. It's that art grind. It never ever ends. Oh, yeah, that's not a thing anymore. To be honest, we we were headed in different places anyway, and then recently, we had just a few conversations that I didn't plan. The day that things ended, I didn't know that would be the final day of it. But thinking about the last couple of conversations that we did have, I should have known that it was going to be the last of it. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe we'll speak again. Maybe we'll see each other again. She has a hoodie of mine that I really want back, and I got some of her stuff, which, of course, she says she wants me to keep, but I don't necessarily want to keep it. I mean, one of them is a really cool art piece that it's great, but whenever somebody asks me about it, I'm gonna have to explain this to it, and it's not ideal either. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Oh, how did our last conversation go? Well, okay. If we're gonna be specific, our last conversation was an immediate callback after we had a long conversation, about an hour long, which was basically a breakup conversation, which stemmed from like a 3 or 4 hour conversation. It happened at like 3 o'clock in the morning on the day before. But I will describe to you how our very last conversation went. So we were on the phone talking for all this time. She was really emotional. I had to convince her to get into a cab. We just had a real long conversation. I kind of let her say her piece, and at the end of that, nothing changed. I knew it was the end of us. If anything, during that conversation, I knew more than ever that it was the end of us. So our very last conversation that we had was, she called after we had gotten off the phone, and I didn't pick up. Then she called again, so I picked up immediately, and I was like, "Hey, you know how old we are when you do this, because every time I see a kid talking on the phone, they talk like this." But either way, our last conversation was, I picked up and I was like, "Hey, if I have to block you, I am never unblocking you. I just need you to understand that." And her response was like, "You would do that to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I don't want to talk about this anymore, and if you are going to constantly keep calling me when there's nothing left to talk about, then my solution is to block you." And she said that really hurt, I think, and I was like, that's unfortunate, but it's the fact of the matter. That is what may happen. And then she was like, "Fine, can we see each other again?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, sure, maybe. Like, you have some of my stuff, I have some of your stuff, like I explained to you, so sure, maybe we can see each other again. But I don't know when that's going to be." So she's like, "Well, when is that going to be? Can it be tomorrow?" And I'm like, "No." "Can it be Thursday?" No. I'm saying no to all of these things. And she goes like, "Well, why?" And I'm like, "Because I'm busy, and because I have my schedule." And I just find myself saying naturally, and because it's not really my pride. And I don't even think I get to finish the sentence. But she's like, "It's not your priority?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Well, it's my priority. You are my number one priority." And that's kind of, I won't say I snapped, but that is when everything became so clear to me, because that was what the problem was. So what I explained to her, I go, that's what the issue is. The issue is that this relationship is your number one priority, and you think that because you feel that way, you can act however you want. And I'm like, this relationship is not my number one priority. It never has been my number one priority, and it never will be my number one priority. That's not my idea of what a relationship looks like. And I went back to one of the first things I ever told her when we started speaking. And I was like, this codependent, toxic bullshit is not how I operate. You might find that shit normal to you, but I am 100% a full person on my own. And the issue is that you see this relationship as your number one priority. And I'm not built like that. That's not what I see. So that might be a normal for you, but that is not the normal that I want to live in or the normal I want to be a part of. And basically her response was like, this is not normal. And I was like, you just spent the last 20 minutes to me, because she did, on the phone, trying to explain to me that this was normal, that this idea of feeling like this is normal. And then she had a moment where she went from being pretty hysterical to being pretty set in stone in her ways. And she was like, I think it is pretty normal to feel emotional when you are being broken up with. And you are breaking up with me right now. So I am extremely emotional. And then she was like, yeah, I appreciate you. Goodbye. And hung off the phone. And, you know, for a final conversation of a relationship, it was nice that I didn't get the last word. It was nice that even though I broke up with her and I ended it, she was able to stay her peace. And we were able to leave things at that. Will I ever see her again? Who knows, but I feel comfortable with how things ended up. And I hope one day she does too. But I gotta go, bro. So I'll see you later. Man, keep working out. Keep working out, man. This is not the end of it all. Later.